I'm ready.
Om Sadashiva Samarambam Shankaracharya Madhyamam Rasmadacharya Paryantam Vande Guru Paramparam Ishvaro Guratmeti Moti Veda Vibhagine Yo Mabda Vyapta Dehaya Dakshinamurtaye Namaha Sava Vedanta Sedanta Gocharam Tamagocharam Govindam Paramanandam Satguru Pranatoshimaham Om Shanti 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 Om. Namaste, welcome to our Tripura Rahasya. Today I was reading the text, I remembered Elizabeth, because I overheard that at certain point Elizabeth said, oh, I don't like that text because there is too much pornography. Have you heard that, Lynn? Okay. So we stopped at the beginning of chapter 3, then Antecedent calls for learning the gospel. Association with the wise must precede Vichara. So Vichara is already a fructification, it's already a punya, a spiritual punya. It's a very elevated kind of sadhana, which requires qualifications and preparedness, and which all begins with association with the scriptures. When we say association with the wise, it means association with the scriptures, which, the source of all wisdom comes really from those scriptures which were not produced by anyone, but they were revealed to everyone. So association must be there preceding this process of Vichara. Having listened to Dattatreya's words, Parasurama was delighted and continued his questions in all humility. O Bhagwan, it's precisely as my Lord Guru is saying, a man will ever head for destruction in his ignorance. So we need wisdom, we need association with wisdom. Otherwise, life is just a wasted opportunity, as we see in most cases. How many lives we have wasted, but we never committed the so-called spiritual suicidal. So we have been making mistakes right and left, but we have been connected dots and growing. And how so? How can you say that? Because it brought me to the scriptures. It brought me to the association with pure wisdom, pure knowledge. So and then in spite of all the mistakes due to my wrong associations, birth after birth, unavoidable bad association, because this world here in this planet, most people are ignorant. And then it says here, a man will ever head for destruction in his ignorance. So we were born out of ignorance. We live in ignorance. Society is sustained by ignorance. And in most cases, we die within this ignorance, to be reborn from the same set of ignorant vasas with slight modifications of ragas and dveshas. So it's a tough place to be, and one is distracted. It's dramatically put. You're gonna destroy yourself. No. We learn that way. We learn the hard way by pain. We suffer and we learn. We suffer and we learn, and in that way, some maturity takes place. So this ignorance is all pervasive. This universe is sustained by ignorance. And it's through this ignorance that we extract some wisdom. The salvation of people lies in Vichara, in only Vichara. What is the other option? The other option is just to live a life governed by my ragas and dveshas, my likes and dislikes, desires and fears. And then I'm just like any other animal. I'm not really observing and connecting the dots and analyzing my experience and the results of those actions and experience. So Vichara alone is the final exit of the samsara chakra. Okay, we are in a prison. We are in the samsara chakra. And the only way is the highway is like, it begins with Vichara, investigation, the effort to understand and to comprehend and to assimilate this wisdom, so that we are no longer enslaved by actions and experiences, because actions and experience will never going to take us from the samsara, which is just action and results of actions, which is going to produce more desire for action, which is going to bring about more desires of action, and we think in a self, how you say, retro feedback loop. In English we say a feedback loop, and until we understand there must be another way. And and I heard there are some scriptures that analyze Jiva's experience and the connection between actions and its results. And then, and that's the salvation. The beginning of one's salvation is association with the scriptures on Vichara. The remote and proximate causes have also been mentioned by you, and they have been traced to these teachings. I am in great doubt on this point. So, Paradurama has still a certain doubt. Yes, so everything is about association. And I'm wondering here, so why me? Why I'm getting this good association? Why not my brother, my neighbor, and this and that? So how does that happen? And what is, again, its proximate cause? What is the cause? Can it be that it's natural, like courage is to a hero? Then why it's not shared by all? Why not everybody has this courageous attitude or nature? Why not everybody has this Vichara tendency, or attitude, So what makes up all this difference? So we know exactly what does do that, I mean, it's a question of karma, vasanas. So we have good vasanas. Those vasanas, they are a byproduct of good association. It takes us to the scripture knowledge based on analysis of experience, vichara, inquiry, self-inquiry, and self-knowledge. So why not my brother? Why not my neighbor? Oh, they have different karmas. They don't have that kind of spiritual karma, no, spiritual punya. Why have I not got this enlightenment yet, he puts it. There are others who are even in more trouble than I am. My trouble now is only that I still believe that I have to gain something here. Although I understood that it's all a question of understanding, of analyzing, of investigating. But why? I have now got it clearly, a hard and fast self-knowledge, dauntless self-knowledge that frees me from this affliction. But yet, I have to say, there are others who are in a more troubled condition and suffer more than I do. It's interesting that he says, I'm suffering. And I'm suffering, why? Because I want to be free from ignorance. I want to be free from this constant doing to enjoy good results, which not often comes. Why I'm still caught up with this cosmic ignorance. But others are not even contemplate the root cause of humans' trouble. So I'm in a good position after all. So why have they not got this? Means why they did not come yet to the scriptures on Vichara or investigation? why people are still doing yoga with all respect and understanding of one's stage of development. Kindly tell me. Thus asked Datta, the ocean of mercy answered, listen, Rama, I shall now tell you the fundamental cause of salvation. The fundamental cause of salvation is association with the wise. Jesus is the root cause for obliterating all human misery. Okay. So it says that association with the wise is the root cause of this spiritual punya karma, or in other words, this inclination, this tendency for self-investigation, self-inquiry, and self-knowledge. Most people are going to be searching experience, the mundane experience and then the spiritual experience. But as we know, experience by nature is a fleeting experience. It's a momentary thing. It's a temporary thing. It's impermanent. Whatever results I get from a certain effort is going to be impermanent. So, and then the root cause of all of that is to associate with the wise. The wise here is the guru or self-knowledge. The Vedanta guru, the Vedanta teacher of the scriptures, because it's going to say, okay, you have done everything over many lives, and now over many decades, and now I'm going to tell you. So only Vichara, only investigation, inquiry, investigation into the true nature of that I, which is free from one's experience, only that investigation, the result of that investigation is going to resolve this problem. So it is association after all, but this association begins with previous associations, as we know. The person has to be a spiritual religious person on the level of karma, dharma, upasana, before it can really be attracted to Vichara, as we know. Although within the umbrella of Vedanta, now we have karma and dharma yoga. And as I often say, even karma and dharma yoga is still knowledge yoga, because it's all about investigating and understanding. The only difference is that with karma, dharma, you're going to understand this one here. So you want to understand this apparent order of reality, and you want to know how to conduct your life in here so that you enjoy yourself, and in the process you develop the pure mind. So then the association, the initial association is the Vichara of the nature of Mitya. It's the understanding, Mitya knowledge, Ishvara knowledge, Ishvara Jiva Jagat. And then in the end comes the ultimate Vichara, which is the Satya Mitya Vichara. In the beginning, we are investigating Dharma, Adharma, so that we can live in harmony with the Lord and live in peace and so on. Listen, Ram, I shall now tell you the fundamental cause of salvation, association. Association with the sage is alone said to lead to the highest good. Your contact with Samvarta, as you remember Samvarta, he was coming down after being defeated by the great Ram. He met Samvarta. Your contact with Samvarta has led you to this stage of development, this stage of enlightenment, which is the forerunner of emancipation. So you are getting there. So good association, good vasanas. So you came already with good vasanas. That's why you were born in a family of a great sage, okay? And okay, you are warrior as well, but you were born in a family of a sage, of a very pure being and highly enlightened being. So this is all due to good association in previous births. So you are here, and that says much about you. On being approached, the sage always teach the greatest good. Always, with great pleasure. There's nothing more, nothing better to do than to share this knowledge, as we know. Today I had a 1 hour satsang with a couple that want to contact me, and it's so beautiful to see. You give a nice overview, you know, they are beginning, and then you see the light, you see the appreciation, you see, wow, 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 this is amazing. So I want it. You never know if the person is going to stick to it or not, stay with it or not, but at least, you know, the seeds, they were planted, you know, you see, wow, okay, but it takes work. Yeah, it's a long process, unless you are highly qualified. Oh, yes, I'm highly qualified. So, verse number 10, has anyone ever got anything great without contact with the wise? In any case, it is the company which determines the future of an individual. A man undoubtedly reaps the fruits of his company he keeps. I shall relate to you a story to illustrate this. Now he's talking. Now he's going to tell us nice story. He's going to bring the famous Hemashuda, yeah, and Himaleka. So there was once a king of Dasarna by name Muktashuda. He had two sons, Himashuda and Manishuda. They were commonly well behaved and learned. At one time, they led a hunting party consisting of a great retinue of men and warriors into a deep forest on the Sahir Mountains, a place infested with tigers, lions, and other wild animals. They were themselves armed with bows and arrows. There, they shot several deer, lions, boars, bison, wolves, etc., having killed them by the skillful use of their bows. As more wild animals were being hunted down by the royal hunters, a tornado began to rage, pouring down sand and pebbles. What is pebbles? It's dirt.
Little small rocks.
Okay, a thick cloud of dust screened the sky, and it became dark as night, so that neither rocks, trees, nor men could be seen. The mountain, too, was shrouded in darkness, so that neither hills nor valleys could be seen. The return hurried away, afflicted by the sand and pebbles hurled down the tornado. A few of them took shelter on the rocks, others in caves, and still others under trees. The royal brothers, the royal pair, mounted horse and rode away into the distance. Hemashuda ultimately reached the hermitage of a sage. So only one brother reached this place, okay? So we have two brothers here. They went together with their people. Manishuda was there as well. But then Hemashuda was the one who reached the hermitage of a sage, which had been built in a fine garden of plantain, date, and other trees. There he saw a charming maiden whose body, bright as gold, shone like a flame of fire. The prince Hemashuda was bewitched at the sight of the girl. What is the meaning of bewitched?
It's like a spell was cast on him. He was under a spell.
Okay. She looked like the goddess of fortune, and spoke to her thus: "Who are you, fair lady, who live fearlessly in such a dreadful and solitary forest? Whose are you? Why are you here? Are you alone?" On being spoken to, that spotless maiden replied, Welcome, Prince. Please sit down. So, hospitality is the sacred duty of the pures. I note you have been overtaken by the tornado and afflicted. So therefore, take it easy, sit down, calm down, and we can have a conversation. Tie your horse to the date palm, sit here and take rest, and you will be able to listen to me in comfort. Okay, so be comfortable, and I will tell you my story. She gave him fruits to eat and juice to drink, even more. Okay, full service. So you are prince, you are here, I'm going to serve you, and I'm going to tell you my story since you are asking for it. After he had refreshed himself, he was further treated with her charming words, which dropped like sweet nectar from her lips. Look how beautiful. So not only fresh fruits and juice and so on, nice shade, and he was treated by the wisdom coming from Jesus. Beautiful, charming words, which he dropped like the sweet nectar of wisdom from her lips. Prince, there is that well-known sage, Vyagrapada, an ardent devotee of Shiva. So now she's presenting herself. By whose penance all the worlds have been transcended, and who is ever worshipped even by the greatest saints for his unparalleled wisdom, both with regard to these and other worlds. So she's introducing him to a great sage named Vyagrapada. I am her child, his foster child. My name is Himaleka. And she carries on. There was a Vidyadari, a celestial damsel, by Vidyut Prabha by name, who was very beautiful. Now she's presenting another personage here. There was this beautiful celestial damsel, okay? And it was very beautiful. One day, and she was a lady, one day she came here to bath in this river, the Vena, to which Sushena, the king of Vanga, also came at the same time. So now she came to this same river here, okay? She was a beauty, a celestial damsel, okay? And I am her child, okay? So she is my mother. And there is someone who is my father, okay? The Vyagrapada. And he's talking of the moment of the conception between her father and her mother. One day she came here to bath in this river. And the king also came at the same time. He saw the celestial beauty of my mother bathing. She was the fairest in the world. Lithe in body and with the most beautiful breasts. What is lithe in body? Lithe?
It's sort of like slender, delicate.
Okay. He immediately fell in love with her, and she returned the love. The love consummated. He returned home, leaving her pregnant. Afraid of slender, she calls an abortion. I was, however, born alive from that womb. So she, being pregnant in those days, she had no other option of trying to cause an abortion. Otherwise, she would be finished under the culture and that kind of circumstance. Let's see if he elaborates a little bit. As Vyagrapada came to the riverbank for his evening ablutions, the father who adopted her, he picked me up because of his great love for all, in order to bring me up with a mother's care. So her father picked her up. She was the result of a king, and a beautiful lady who showed up at the time together with the king, and she was left there pregnant, and abortion happened, and she survived the abortion, and she was living there, and her father came to the river and then picked her up. He who offers righteous protection is said to be the father. So I am therefore his daughter by virtue of this, and devoted to him. There is certainly no fear for me anywhere on earth on account of the greatness of my father, not the blood father, but the father, the righteous, the sage who picked her up. Be they gods or asuras, they cannot enter this hermitage with bad motives. If they did, they would only be courting their own ruin. I have now told you my story. But wait here, Prince, wait a little. That same Lord, my foster father, will soon be here. He's arriving. So say hi to him, salute him, and hear him with humility. Your desire will be fulfilled, and you may leave here in the morning. So I don't know what kind of desire will be fulfilled, but she's saying he's so wise that anything you tell him, you're going to receive dividends, great dividends. Having heard her and becoming enamored of her, he was silent for fear of giving offense, yet he became distressed in mind. Okay, so he fell in love with the lady right on the spot. She said, wait, that my father is coming. It seemed that she was aware that he was in love. And then he says, yeah, I better stay put here and try to be cool, but my mind is distressed with desire for this incredible lady. Noticing that the prince was love-stricken, that highly accomplished girl continued, bravo, prince, be stead, my father is about to come. And then you tell him everything. As she was saying this, Vichara, the great saint, arrived carrying a basket of flowers, culled from the forest for worship. Seeing that the sage came, the prince rose up from his seat, prostrated before him, mentioned his own name, and then took his seat as directed. So most probably she gave him some direction on how to behave before a sage. The sage notes immediately that the man was love-stricken, taking the whole situation by his wisdom. He pondered on what would be the best course in this circumstance, and end up by destroying Himalaya on the young man as his life partner. So the king understood the situation, and he just, assessed what would be the best course of circumstances. He said, okay, you can take Himalaya, and she's my beautiful daughter, but since I am a sage, there is no attachment. Nothing really attached to me. So you're going to be a good king, and you don't know the trouble you are getting into, but take Himalaya with you as your life partner. The prince was filled with joy and returned with her to his own capital. His father, Muktashuddha, was also very pleased and ordered festivities in the kingdom. He then had the marriage performed ceremoniously, and the loving couple passed a very happy honeymoon in the palace, in the forest retreats, and on sand beach. Oh, all kinds of environments. That's the life of a prince. But there is a but here. But the infatuated prince noticed that Himalaya was not as in love as himself, was not as amorous or passionate as he was, feeling that she was always kind of dispassionate or unresponsive, she asked her in private, "My dear, how is it you are not as attentive, focused, obsessed with me as I am with you?" Huh? Just imagine the situation of this guy. So I'm totally in love with you. Huh? And I noticed that you are cool, that you are content, but you are not crazy with me. Huh? So what is wrong? Is that something with me? So you don't love me? Huh? Why you are not obsessed with having pleasures with me and so on? Though fairest of girls, radiant with smiles, how is it that you are never keen on seeking pleasure or enjoyment or enjoying with me? Are not these pleasures to your taste? You look indifferent even during the greatest pleasures. How can I be happy if you are interested? If your interest in this pleasure is not awakened? Very difficult situation, huh? Don't you think? And when we say that we always get what we deserve, so we would say like, oh, Amaleka deserved maybe a highly evolved husband, you know? But somehow she got what she needs. She needs to somehow had this influence, you know, pass on this wisdom to the prince, and then so that many people in the kingdom could be benefit. And she had her way about it that is very beautiful, as we will see. And with so much skill in present the knowledge without hurting the ego of a prince, you know. And so it's very, very nice. Even when I'm close to you, your mind seems to be elsewhere. When it's spoken to, you do not seem to listen to what I'm saying. This is problematic. Huh? Because if you are with someone and someone has some talks that you are not really interested, and you say, ha, 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 sooner or later you get caught. You understand? And then you're in trouble. Oh, you don't listen, you know. And then she's gonna tell her, I don't listen because I'm not interested in those talks. If we have a different set of talks, I'm gonna listen to you. Otherwise, I prefer my silence, my peace. So I speak to you, you do not seem to be listening. As I hold you in close embrace for a long while, you seem unconscious of me. You go into samadhi as if you attach to a tree or something like that, not to me, your husband. And then ask me, Lord, when did you come? So just imagine, the husband is there, the prince is there, you know, hugging, kissing her. And then after 15 minutes, she said, oh, are you here? When did you come? I was in samadhi. You know, very difficult situation. None of the carefully planned arrangements I make seem to interest you, and you do not take really part in them. When I turn away from you, you remain with your eyes closed, and you continue whenever I approach you. Tell me how I can derive pleasure with nothing but an artist's model. He says, you seem to be like beautiful, but only to look, to see, because, you know, you cannot really extract pleasure from you because you do not respond to that. How can I derive pleasure with someone who seems to be just a model? That's what you seem to be. You are indifferent to all kinds of sense enjoyments. What does not please you cannot please me either. Absolutely. the values here, they are so distinct. The prince has a huge value to love, sex, and the beauty, and this romance, this incredible, beautiful person that came into his life. And he cannot enjoy it because there is no response from the other side. How can I enjoy this beauty if you are not there with me? I'm always thinking, looking for you, trying to please you, like a lily looking up to the moon. This is an analogy to a certain flower that blossoms in the night towards the moon, the full moon. Speak, dear. Why are you like this? You are dearer to me than even my life. I adjure you. Speak, and so relieve my mind. I am troubled by your dispassion. Thus ends the third chapter in this section on the potency of the association with the wife. Now, this prince, why he got into this association? Because it looks from the beginning that it was a mistake. He got associated with someone who had no value for these sense pleasures. No value for the best food and the best enjoyments of all natures, physical, sexual, and everything. Someone who is beautiful, but does not share the same level of enjoyment as the prince. The prince is used to a certain level of enjoyment and happiness through the sense pleasures. And this woman, she's there, and she's experienced real happiness and peace and contentment. And she cannot enjoy together with him because she's enjoying something much finer, much subtler, much more satisfying, really satisfying peace, contentment. And so they can never meet. So he's here and she's there. So how they are going to meet? She cannot come down and becomes passionate toward those things. She may fake it for a little bit, but it's going to be noticed as he noticed. So there is only one way here, or divorce, or he has to raise to her level so that they both can enjoy the same level of happiness and contentment and shanti and so on. Let's see if it's going to end up in divorce, this affair here. So the next chapter is about disgust for worldly enjoyments. Is inculcated so that this passion might be developed. So this is a strong radical process by which the teachings present us how disgusting, worldly sensory enjoyments can be, So you have to become so dispassionate to all of that. Not that you condemn people going for that, but you look at that and you say, no, I have no interest in none of these anymore. I have no interest in samsara. So it's not really a disgust that produces an aversion, because that binds as well. It's just that has to be present the facts and limitations and defects of all objects of enjoyment. Every one of these things is very, very defect. And therefore, it has to be presented as something we should feel disgust towards, okay? But it's not that it should be condemned saying, no, you listen to Paramarthananda, he takes it easy, he say, no, you can enjoy everything, but just don't let it be binding to you, okay? The true source of contentment, peace, and love and satisfaction resides in jnana, in self-knowledge, okay? But somehow you're still here. Why not to enjoy some good food, some ceremonials, some rituals sometimes, or some other people? Okay, so we spoke a few times about that, how tolerant we are to those social kind of events, in which people are there. I have, again, some people here invite me to a certain event. I always avoid without hurting the feeling of anyone. Because, if I go, I end up enjoying something, but it's not really, I like better to stay home here. You understand? But if you tell them it's disgusting, all of this, because you are not really enjoying yourself. And then you go about enumerating all the flaws, limitations, and defects of those fleeting moments that appear to be enjoyment, but it's fake enjoyment. So only then person is going to develop this passion, this power to say, no, I don't go to the, I'm not going to go after ghosts, okay? There is nothing to it, okay? There is no real true happiness or satisfaction. Why I keep feeding this notion that, yes, I am, if this, if that, if this, if that, and then I will be definitely happy. No. I just now I am on war with those vasanas, those tendencies. I want to be totally dispassionate, resistant towards these tendencies. This passion must be developed. On hearing the sweet words of her infatuated lover, who was all the time pressing her to his bosom, that stainless girl, wishing to teach him, smiled gently and spoke with good sense as follows. So from the get-go, she knew that she was going to have a prince. That was her destiny, her karma. And there was only one way this story would go. He would need to be her disciple, and she would be his guru, okay? That would be the only way for this Prarabdha karma. But she had to be careful how to begin teaching him. And she wants to teach him. She was wishing to teach, but I say, no, maybe it's too soon. Let's give him some time. Okay, so how I'm going to approach him? And then she presents him a few words, very humble words. Say, oh, Prince, it's not that I do not love you. I love you greatly. She did not say much more, but I love everything greatly. And then, oh, I'm not special to you. No? I love you. Only that I'm trying to discover what the greatest happiness or joy in life is. So she said, no, I love you, but I am like this because I'm trying to discover another source of love, of happiness and joy, which is greater than any of those that we have here in the palace. I want to discover that greatest happiness, joy in life, which will never become distasteful, because as we know, everything that's tasteful today may become distasteful in the next day. I'm always searching for it, but I have not attained it as yet. So she presents the situation, her situation to him, say like, I'm trying hard to get a better source of happiness, but I haven't got it yet, okay? So I want true permanent happiness and satisfaction. I'm all the time searching for it. It's nothing to do with you. But unfortunately, I have not attained this happiness. And she's lying. She's just saying, oh, it's my limitation here. Don't worry, I'm not going to be your guru. You are my guru because you are the prince. Okay? But, I have this problem. She was present to him. I have this problem. Though always looking for it, I have never reached any definite decision about this greatest happiness. As is a woman's way, I am never making up a decision. I'm always a little bit like, indecisive. Will you not kindly tell me what exactly is this greatest happiness? Maybe you can help me, my Lord. You are my prince, you are my husband. So I'm in trouble here. So be my guru, okay? So she's inviting him to help her. Being thus called, how you say this and what it means?
Coke's just sort of saying, come on, come on. You know, I'm
Okay. Being thus asked, Hamashuda laughed derisively and told his beloved, oh, women, you are indeed silly. So just imagine the release, yeah, that he felt, oh my God, I thought it was. Now it's just that she has a little problem, but I'm going to take care of that. And then he goes with a logic, a good logic to her, but we know that it is, although there is certain logic there, but it's very limited. The argument here, do not even birds and beasts, and even insects know what is good and what is bad. I mean, the entire universe of sentient beings, everyone knows what is good and what's bad. Why you are making such a big deal? Why you are complicating your life? You guys from Vedanta, you seem to want to complicate. You are so mental, huh? Some people, they criticize us and say, oh, no, you just feel and you go with the feeling. Huh? So even insects, they know what's good. So what is good is that what gives pleasure. What's bad, what gives displeasure. That which is pleasing is clearly good, and that which is not pleasing is bad. And you are there making a big deal out of something which is so simple. Just do what gives you pleasure and avoid what it does not give you. And then what gives you pleasure is good, and what gives you pain is bad. What is there in it, my dear, that you are always thinking about these things? You know, you are really having a problem. Is it not silly? So tell me, this is silly. Women are silly, huh? So hearing her lover speak thus, Himaleka continued. So now she had the opening to start presenting to him that all this pleasure he gets is full of defects, and it does not really deliver what he's searching for, but it's a slow process. And people go through those shocks, you know, of realizing the defects, the inherent defects on all objects of pleasure. So it takes time to process, but he seems to be highly qualified. And she says, true, my Lord, women are silly and cannot judge rightly. Therefore, should I be taught by you the right discernment or discrimination? No, you be my guru and teach me what is really good and what is bad. On being rightly taught by you, my Lord, I shall stop thinking like that, you know. Also, I shall then be able to share in your pleasures to your entire satisfaction. But there is a but there. But first, she wants to present to him a certain logic that gives her assurance that what he sees as pleasure really delivers satisfaction, truly satisfaction. Huh? O king, judge, a subtle judge that you are, you have found happiness, and you have found also misery to be the results of what is pleasing and unpleasing. You know that the world is is filled with objects that give you happiness and gives you misery. Okay, so the normal people, they have no idea of what makes an object of experience give pleasure and what makes an object gives pain. And they never really see the whole picture to see that the same object sometimes causes pleasure, sometimes causes pain. So they don't have this picture, this overview, okay? They believe that the joy is in the object of experience. Huh? So she's going to slowly present some facts to him. But the same object yields pleasure or pain according to circumstance. Where is then the finality in your statement that some objects please you, therefore they are good, and some objects does not please you or unplease you, therefore they are bad. So where is your final statement? See, if you start understanding that the same objects may produce pleasure or pain according to certain circumstance. Take fire, for example, its results vary according to season, the places, and its own size and intensity. We know a small fire on a fireplace in the living room, in a cabin, in the mountain is something very desirable. It's going to warm up the cabin and you're going to be cozy and nice. But if it's too big, it's going to burn the cabin. So there are so many variables. So, and then it's good in the winter, but in the summer, when the cabin is already hot, a small fireplace is going to be very unpleasant. It is agreeable in cold seasons and disagreeable in hot seasons. Pleasure and pain are therefore functions of seasons or circumstances, the same as similarly of latitudes and altitudes. So everything is conditional. There is no absolute pleasure and pain. There is no absolute object that contains pleasure and pain, because it's conditional, depends on circumstance, and furthermore, it depends on the experiencer. Some people are going to react different to the same object, and the same person is going to develop different response along their lives. Again, fire is good for people of certain constitutions only, and not for others. Still, again, pleasure and pain depend on circumstance. The same reasoning applies to cold, to the riches, to sons, to wife, to kingdom, and so on. The same man that is happy to divorce, the same woman that produces happiness to the divorce to her previous husband is going to produce happiness to the new husband who comes to marry her. You understand? So it's very subjective, it's circumstantial. So the woman may be a source of trouble, or the man may be a sort of pain in a breaking relationship, divorcing relationship, but it becomes an object of enjoyment and happiness to the next partner. See how your father, the Maharaja, the king, is daily worried, even though he's surrounded by riches, wife, children, security. He has everything working for him, but yet he's always worried. As we know, even the kings, they are not happy, because it's not only a question of gaining or attaining, but once you have gained or attained, the other problem is how to keep it. So in those days, it was so easy to be invaded by a neighbor king and lose everything, including your life. So nothing is absolutely a source of happiness and security. Why do not others grieve like this? What has happened to enjoyments in his case? Why he's not enjoying all the time? Huh? Just imagine the life of a king. I mean, the story of Buddha is wonderful for that. You know, he had everything, all pleasures, all enjoyments. You know? But still, he realized that after some time, that does not really satisfy a mature soul. And he needs to go out of the palace to understand what else is in life. This king, what happens to his enjoyment? Why he is not happy at all times? He's certainly on the lookout for happiness. All of his resources are direct to that end, security and happiness. But he's always looking out for it. It means that he is never really fully happy or satisfied. Otherwise, he would not be searching for it again and again. So it gets boring afterwards. And some kings later on want to become self-realized beings and just leave the kingdom to other people. No one seems to possess everything that's sufficient for this happiness that is the goal of every human being. No king seems to possess what it takes to be permanently and sufficiently resolved, happy, and content, and satisfied, and peaceful. The question then arises, cannot a man be happy even with little such limit means? So the question arises, cannot a man be happy even with very limited means? Even consider that even kings having all means still are not happy. So what brings about happiness? And then she goes to say, no, the happiness of your father cannot be true happiness, my Lord. Those happiness are tinged with misery. And misery is of two kinds, the external misery and the internal misery. The former pertains to the body and is caused by the nerves and so on. The later pertains to the mind and is caused by desire. So we have two kinds of misery. One is coming from our environment. Every time that we have circumstances that are going to threat of our security, our satisfaction, our pleasures, our stability, anything is going to create misery, and it appears to come from the environment through our sense organs, through the body, and causing pain through the nerves, okay? And the other is another source of pain that comes from the vasanas, from the mind. So we have those worries, those preoccupations, those concerns all the time popping and cause pain, suffering, preoccupations, and so on. So one it pertains to the physical and comes through the body, and the other comes from my vasanas, from the mind, and it's caused by desire. Mental distraction is worse than physical pain. And the whole world has fallen a victim to mental pain, mental suffering, emotional suffering. Desire is the seed of the tree of misery and never fails in its fruit. And now she throws a bomb to him. He presents the misery, the dissatisfaction that is inherent in most human beings as coming from what outside and from within. And then she says that the second one, which is the mental dissatisfaction, is worse than the physical dissatisfaction, pain derived from prarabdha karmas, which are not favorable to my likes and dislikes. So the mental one is worse, is the emotional pain, emotional suffering, psychological suffering. And why it is so? Because I have already filed all those impressions in my subconscious mind in the form of vasanas, and they are going to be producing in my conscious mind certain thoughts. Depending on the nature of these thoughts, undeliberate thinking process, depending on the nature, if they are based on desires and fear, they are going to produce discomfort and pain. This mental, emotional problem, suffering, is even worse than the ones coming from our interaction with the field, meaning to say with undesirable karmas, circumstance. So the mental one is worse. The mental one, as we know, is caused by desires and fears, ragas and diversions all the time. Being redeposited in the subconscious mind, and then appearing in my conscious mind as a desire to go and get and keep or pushing away something. The entire world suffers from this mental problem. Desire is the seed of the tree of misery, and it never fails in its fruits. So I think you agree that she threw a bomb on him. So I'm curious to see how he's going to react to all of that. Overpowered by it, Indra, and she continues, Indra and the Devas sought, although living in celestial regions of enjoyment and fed by nectars, are still slaves to it and work day and night according to the dictates of such desires. They have celestial desires, so they are enjoying celestial punya karma, but they have to be working for it again and again, maintaining that kind of mind, enjoying the nectar of celestial punya karma. They slaved by it. They are going to be producing and enslaved and working day and night according to the dictates of such vasanas. Respite gained by the fulfillment of one desire before another takes its place is not happiness, because the seeds of pain are still latent. Such respite is enjoyed by the insects as well. Okay, so this is more profound teachings on the nature of mental disturbance, mental perturbation, and we should take our time to deep into it nicely. Next coming Thursday. What's the day today? Today's Friday. No, next Monday.
Monday, yeah.
Next Monday. So we begin next Monday, taking the subject of the mental suffering, psychological suffering derived from our desires and fears. Okay, anything from you guys? Om Purnamada Purnamidam Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnamevavashishate. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Thank you, Lord. Thank you, my friends. Namaste. We meet again next Monday, Vichara willing. As Mark says, bye now.
Okay, goodbye now.
Bye now.
He changed it now. Bye bye.
Okay, bye now.